You're watching Deca Talks, where we dive into the strange corners of the internet, the stories, theories, and mysteries that keep people talking. Each episode, we take 10 minutes to unpack something trending, eerie, or just plain fascinating. If you've got a topic you want us to explore, drop it in the comments. We might just go down that rabbit hole next. Today, we're looking at two robberies that shook France in the same 24 hours. Two museums, two heists, and one big question: was it the same gang? On the morning of October 19th, 2025, four men in construction vests and helmets arrived quietly on the Seine-facing side of the Louvre. To anyone watching, they looked like maintenance workers, routine, invisible. But these weren't workers. They were thieves, calm, methodical, and timed to perfection. Using a mechanical basket lift, the crew ascended to a second-story window in the Galerie d'Apollon, home to France's crown jewels. They knew exactly where to go. The display containing some of the most valuable pieces in Europe: an emerald and diamond necklace gifted by Napoleon to Empress Marie-Louise, a tiara of Empress Eugenie, and six more 19th century masterpieces glittering under spotlights. They cut through the window frame with a silent rotary saw. Inside, they moved like a unit. One lookout, two collectors, one handler. No alarms, no guards. They had rehearsed every second. Security footage shows the job lasted under 8 minutes from entry to escape. They smashed into display cases with diamond-tipped cutters, plucked the jewels with gloved precision, sealed them in pouches, and descended the lift. Waiting scooters whisked them into Paris traffic and out toward the river. One piece didn't make it. The crown of Empress Eugenie fell during the getaway and was later found damaged beside the Seine. For the Louvre, a fortress of art and history, it was unthinkable, and the embarrassment was only beginning. The investigation exposed how fragile the museum's defenses had become. The CCTV license had expired in July 2025. Cameras ran, but feeds weren't properly monitored, and guards weren't watching the right zones. They were only alerted when sparks flew from the grinders cutting glass. Compounding the failure, the Louvre was in the middle of staff strikes over pay and chronic understaffing. Several guards had been reassigned that morning to manage overcrowding in other wings. An ex-thief who once specialized in museum robberies later claimed he had warned the Louvre months earlier that the Apollo Gallery was vulnerable. Police called the operation a masterclass in timing and coordination. Within days, Interpol issued a red alert describing the cultural loss as immeasurable. The estimated value: 88 million euros, roughly 102 million US dollars. Two suspects were arrested by October 25th. One at Charles de Gaulle Airport, trying to board a flight to Algeria. Both men were from Seine-Saint-Denis, a district long linked to organized theft networks. 5 more arrests followed on October 29th, bringing the total to 7. Two suspects partially confessed, admitting to planning and scouting roles. Still, the jewels remain missing. Experts say fencing them intact is impossible. They're too iconic. But breaking them down into loose stones or scrap gold is another story. Investigators suspect a larger criminal network behind the scenes, possibly the Pink Panther gang, known for military discipline and lightning-fast jewel heists. In response, the Louvre transferred its remaining royal jewels to the Bank of France vault for safekeeping. Politicians called it a wake-up call, proof that even the most famous museum in the world isn't untouchable. 3 days later, staff at the Maison des Lumières Denis Diderot Museum in Langres, eastern France, noticed something off. A display case was smashed. Gone were around 2,000 historic gold and silver coins from the 18th and 19th centuries. Police soon dated the break-in to October 19th, 2025, the same day as the Louvre heist. The value was about 100,000 US dollars. Tiny compared to the Louvre, but the timing was too perfect to ignore. Authorities described it as a theft carried out with great expertise, no arrests, no suspects, just empty cases and a nagging question: coincidence or coordination? So, let's dive in. Investigators quietly began connecting dots, and a familiar name surfaced: the Pink Panther gang. They're not a single gang. but a network of thieves with ties to former Yugoslav soldiers, responsible for some of the most audacious jewelry heists in Europe and Asia. Over 2 decades, they've stolen more than $500 million in gems. Their trademarks are military-style precision, fast jobs under 10 minutes, scooters for getaways, and a focus on easily transportable luxury items, rings, crowns, necklaces that can vanish in a pocket. Experts say the Louvre robbery fits their pattern perfectly. Police have not confirmed it officially, but they admit the style and discipline of the operation match Pink Panther's signatures. If it was them, that raises another question. Was the Louvre heist their second job that day? Let's start with the first theory. Same crew, same day. Both robberies took place on October 19th. Both hit museums holding national heritage treasures, not private jewelers. Both showed planning and timing precision. Langris could have been a decoy, a secondary team creating noise, while the main crew handled the Louvre. Or it could have been the same network running two cells at once, a tactic the Pink Panthers are known for. The timing lines up almost too neatly. The Louvre job was over by morning. Langris could have been hit that afternoon by an affiliated crew moving under the radar. Some investigators believe that's why the Langris Museum was chosen, a quieter regional location with historic assets that could fund operations while the main loot lay low. The Pink Panthers are notorious for coordinated multi-city hits, and the Langris job, with its professional glass cuts and timing, bears their fingerprints too. Now the skeptical take. The two heists look very different when you zoom in. The Louvre was an elite-level operation, surgical, planned weeks ahead with high-tech entry and a clean escape. Langris was a smash and grab, a broken case, smaller loot, less security, less planning. The distance between Paris and Langris is about 300 kilometers. For the same crew to pull off both within hours would mean two separate teams or military-level logistics. Then, there's the value gap, 88 million euros in crown jewels versus 100,000 in coins. That's not a split operation. That's two entirely different leagues of criminal. Some analysts suggest the Langris crew was opportunistic, using the Louvre chaos as cover. News of Paris's robbery dominated headlines, buying smaller thieves a window to hit elsewhere, while police were stretched thin. If that's true, the Langris job isn't connected, just inspired by the same day's chaos. Even without proof, the idea of the Pink Panthers haunting Paris again captured the public imagination. They've been active since the early 2000s, known for clean jobs, choreographed entries, and calculated risk. Their nickname comes from a 1993 case where a stolen diamond was found hidden inside a jar of face cream, a scene straight out of the movie of the Pink Panther. Their members are former soldiers from the Balkans, operating as independent cells under loose coordination. If they are behind the Louvre job, it would mark their first major return to Western Europe in years. That's why this case matters. It's not just about stolen treasures, but about the evolution of modern organized art crime. The Louvre robbery was more than a theft. It was a symbolic blow to French heritage. Politicians called it a national embarrassment. Security unions said they'd been warning for months about staff shortages and outdated tech. After the heist, the museum accelerated a massive security upgrade, new digital locks, 24-hour surveillance monitoring, and additional staff. Across France, regional museums followed suit, realizing they were just as vulnerable as the Louvre. Even the Langris Museum has since reopened with enhanced protections, but its 2,000 coins are still gone. So what really happened on October 19, 2025? Was it a single elite network executing a coordinated double heist across France? A display of power and precision? Or a coincidence? One historic robbery and a copycat taking advantage of the chaos. Both versions fit the facts. Both leave unanswered questions. If the Pink Panthers were behind it, it's their most daring job in years, and a sign that even national symbols aren't safe. If not, then maybe the idea of the Panthers has grown bigger than the gang itself, a legend that inspires others to chase its shadow. Either way, the lesson is clear. In a world of tight budgets and viral notoriety, museum security isn't just about locks and alarms. It's about reputation. You've been watching Deca Talks. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss future deep dives into the weird, the eerie, and the unexplained. And tell us below, do you think it was one crew or two perfect coincidences? Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep your eyes on the display case.